So in our story, David was supposed to be out fighting the enemy, the Amorites, and instead of doing that, he stayed at home and he got bored. The process then got worse because he couldn't even sleep. He was so bored, he got out of bed, it was late at night. He walks around, goes up on top of his palace, just killing time. And I don't know if you remember, your grandma used to say, idle hands are the devil's workshop. Well, that's a really true statement. I want you to do something for me if you will. I want you to listen for a moment with me. Now, what you hear there is an abundance of quiet. My life, my wife's life, it didn't used to be this way. We have 7 kids, we have 16 grandbabies. The reality is raising those 7 kids, things weren't quiet around here very often. And the one thing we really didn't want to happen was our kids getting bored. You know what happens when those kids get bored. Next thing you know, they want to see if they can get Shay to jump off the roof, or they want to see what happens if they glue Darby to the ground, if she can get up. I mean, it's just what happened. And guys, you have to understand the same thing is possible with us in our world. Let's face it, we live at a time where we have a fairly good abundance of money. We have a lot of discretionary time, and that kind of can lead us to at times getting bored, and we kind of look for the next thrill to see what we're going to do. Now, I want you to think about our story for just a minute. Do you find it as interesting as I do that everything had to happen just right to be able to make this work? I mean, David had to get restless at the right time. He had to end up in the right place, up on the top of the palace. He had to go to the right side of the palace. A woman had to be bathing at that time of night. There had to be the right light to be able to make that work. She had to be, in the Hebrew language, a stone cold fox. All of this stuff just had to happen to be able to make us all work together. And you have to realize, guys, none of this was a coincidence. You see, when you look at our story here, at this point, Satan was working everything together to try and destroy David at a very, very vulnerable time. At this point, guys, King David had done nothing wrong. At this point, Bathsheba had done nothing wrong. But the enemy was working things together to get him to lust, so that when he found out she was married, he didn't care about that, took her anyway, and absolutely destroyed his life. Now, let me show you why that's important. A lot of you are fishermen, and so because of that, you're familiar with this, where you've got all these lures. Now, I want you to look at them. They're real pretty. They got lots of colors to it, but if you look closely enough, you're going to see there's some hooks there. And what happens is fish come along just like this, and they chomp into that bad boy, and even here you can see the hooks. But the problem is the fish is just operating on instinct, and therefore it didn't look closely enough or think long enough before it bit down on that lure and it ruined everything. Guys, what we have to understand is that this is what the enemy does to us. Have you ever noticed how convenient sin is? How easy it is to sin? It's like falling off a dock. The really hard thing is, in life at least, is avoiding sin. And there's a reason for that, guys, because Satan's a dog. He's constantly working against us, just like he did with David and Bathsheba, trying to ruin us and wreck us at every step, trying to find us where we are weak, we are vulnerable, we are bored, we are sad. We are at moments where we will fail. You know, in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8, it actually says that we are to be on our guard, for our adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. He's just looking for someone to destroy, guys, and that's us. Now, here's the important part of that, though. In Proverbs 1, in verse 17, it actually says that it's useless to spread the net in the eyes of any bird. The idea is, why would you give the game away, what you're trying to do? Yet the enemy has given the game away. We know what he's trying to do. We know how he's trying to lure us and mess us up. So here's what we do, guys. We actually take the time to look a little closer. We take the time to think a little harder so that we don't end up with that hook in our mouth. That we have the opportunity to actually beat this guy, to defeat this guy, to avoid ruining our life. Let's take the time, look closer, think harder, and let's do that together this week.